Hello and welcome in. It is week 12 of the NFL season, which sets an all-time record. An historic performance about to be unveiled for the Three Man Rush podcast. I'm your host, Pat Bradley, joined as always by my friends and co-hosts, Carl Mother Bleepin' Man and Tommy Sullivan. Fellas, we told you that at this time last year, right after we did our second half preview pod, we disappeared into the wind, never to be seen again for 10 whole months. But we're here. The second half preview is live. We released the first half preview pod. We're back. We're recording a podcast. Guys, I think we're going to the Super Bowl. Is it too early? Like, talk about predictions. I think we're going to the Super Bowl.
I think at the very least we can say that one of us is better than ever.
And it isn't me, that's for sure.
And you know what? I didn't lose this week. I mean, I technically lost, but I didn't come in third this week. So really wins all around. But Tommy, you alluded to it. So let's just dive right in. What are you so happy about?
I'm happy about my big old brain last week, lighting the way to an 8-4 record. Although I have to give you guys an assist because the last two games that I picked, I only picked because you guys were in unison against, and I got both of those right. So that added 2 more wins to my ledger. So thanks to you guys. But yeah, I led the way this week with an 8-4-2 record, and we're looking to keep that ball rolling right down the hill and keep it going this week.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great strategy. I mean, you played it right. I mean, you were like, you know what? Those two are probably going to be wrong. If we're all three of us pick it, we're all going to be wrong. That seems to always happen. So why not bet against all of us and just take the other side? Smart.
Yeah, please continue to pick against Carl, especially when I'm on his side. Please do that. I'm sure that will just come out in the wash in the end. It totally in your favor, 1,000%. It's good stuff. Okay, well, now that we're talking about that records, let's just get right into it. So last week, Tommy wins the week, 8-4-2 overall. This is the season of pushes. We've had a lot of pushes this season. Last year, I believe we only had 4 all season. Again, as reference, we only made it through about half the season, but through half the season here, a little more than half the season, two pushes this week, 7 pushes overall on the season. Pretty crazy. If you ask me, maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? We've only been doing this podcast for a year and a half, so maybe it's not. We'll find out.
One football season cumulatively in total.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm not even gonna try to say cumulatively because I have to say it really slowly, like I'm super smart.
I have a petition. We should make our scoring standards like NHL scoring. Tommy can relate to this. We get 2 points for a win, and then we get a half point for a tie. So, we should consider that as our record. We should take half points for those, half credit. Especially me, I need it after the last couple of weeks.
You definitely need it the last couple of weeks. I can tell you the competition committee will consider your request, but only because it shouldn't, but it does maybe have a little bit of pity on you because 2 weeks ago, you were 19 games above 500. And now after last week, we have back-to-back 4-win weeks for you, Carl, which means you're now only 7 games above 500, which I have to point out. I can't apologize, although I guess by saying that, I kind of am. But I let you asked if you could win 200 games this season.
Nope.
and
it's been downhill since then.
I preemptively congratulated you on winning the season and told you that there was no way that I could come back from that. And you just fell right into the reverse jinx trap. So back-to-back 4-win weeks for you ever since. Kind of tough.
Yeah, wicked tough. I mean, we talked about it already before, like plenty of times that I don't, Boston Carl, that's right. He's back. we talked about it a couple of times where I don't bet every single game. So like even in the weeks where I have like 10, 11 wins, I mean, I did hit that parlay that week, but that's a long shot, right? I got lucky. Let's be honest. But the picks that I did play this week, I was pretty good. I was just slightly over. I had like 4-3 record. I posted my picks on Twitter. The parlays that I threw out there didn't hit, unfortunately. But again, not everything is going to win every single time, and that's why it's all about making smart picks when you're actually putting money on it. But overall, I feel like we're doing really well on the podcast, so can't complain.
Yeah,
sad that I lost my big lead, but we'll turn it around.
I will say, like, I've been excited. I thought, I was gaining some ground on Tommy last week. I gained some ground on you last week. Completely lost that ground to Tommy this week, but I didn't lose any ground to you because I too went 4-8-2 last week. So I didn't come in third. I just tied for second out of 3. So good job by me.
If you ain't first, you're last.
That's facts.
Easy to say from the front of the train. Well,
he's the middle of the train.
Yeah, but not last week. He was the front of the train.
It was a 2-car train that last week. It was the front and the caboose.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the last row of like low class, like plebeians, before I get thrown out and caught and put back in the coal caboose. So I don't know. We'll take it while we have it. I won the week 2 weeks ago. I didn't lose the week this week. I think we call that momentum in the game. When you're in last place, you take what you can get. Fair?
Fair.
Speaking of that, Carl, you know a little something about last place this week as well, because Dollar Bill Island, we're making some ground.
Taking shots at me. Jeez.
Listen, I have this thing where, like, I don't really talk shit when I'm winning. When I'm winning, I shut my mouth and I stay humble because I believe in karma. When I'm losing, I am a loud mother bleeper. So that was for you, Mom. So I talk a lot of smack when I'm in last place because it's a lot more fun, especially because if you're talking smack and then you come back and win, makes it all the better. But if you're in first place and you're talking smack, you're just kind of a sore winner. I don't know, something like that. Nice. Speaking of sore winners, Tommy, you have your opportunity to be one. You had $3 Dollar Bill Island wins this week. Edged me out there not necessarily last minute. Was it last minute? Was it the Monday night game? No, I don't even remember when it was. But regardless, you had $3 Dollar Bill Island wins last week. I had 2, and Carl, doing his best Pat impression, had a goose egg.
Yeah. Again, I'm making my case for the pushes, but
always a case to be made. Continue.
Oh my goodness. The dollar bill islands that I didn't get were because those games pushed. I had the push games as opportunities, 1 point either direction. I would have had it. And actually it was a last minute score by the Browns to come back and make that game versus the Bills a push. And then the Falcons had a chance to score and they stopped right before the goal line and did not score. They just took knees to run out the game. So, it is what it is. A push is a push. At least I didn't lose. But those would have been 2 in my favor that would not have gone in your favor. So standings would have looked a little bit different if those had gone my way.
Okay. So what you're telling me is there wasn't a new spreadsheet to blame this week for your poor performance? Was it an alternate Dollar Bill Island spreadsheet? Is that the excuse this week?
This time it was the literal spreads that are to blame.
Yeah, it was a shit spread. That was.
Spreads slapped the sheet out of you. Ho! Thank you.
How about Tommy's UCL joke was hilarious. Can we just throw it back to that?
I'm never going to top that.
All-time dad jokes early on here.
Was that on the second half preview pod?
It was.
We've had
my gosh, the one that got released today, Tuesday, November 22nd.
Oh my God. Great point, Carl. Let's plug that. Can we get like some little like bells over this?
If you're listening to this right now, singing. If you're listening to this right now, please just go back, check your feed, and see, because we reacted to our own preview pod that came out really late and gave you all second half predictions and a little bit a sprinkle of awards predictions as well.
It's just a gift from the 3M Army. I've named us now and our fans, all of them, the 3M Army.
I like
a gift from the 3M Army to all of you. You've gotten 4 podcasts in 2 weeks. You always tell us, guys, you don't talk for long enough. We wish we had more 3M Army content. And so we listened, and instead of 1 hour and a half podcast a week, we gave you 3+ hours of content, 6 hours total over 2 weeks. We know there's people out there that are going to be traveling for Thanksgiving. You need time to kill. You don't want to talk to your family in the car. You're welcome. Spend your Thanksgiving travels with us, Pat, Tommy, and Carl.
You don't know how many times people have come up to me and like when I'm running errands at the grocery store and whatnot and be like, why is there not more? And I said, I know there's only 24 hours in the day. There's nothing that we can do about that.
I mean, seriously, people, you want us to have a 24-hour gambling marathon? Because don't tempt us with a good time. Because
we will.
We will. Tommy won't, but Carl and I might do it. Just kidding.
I'll probably fall asleep.
I was going to say,
I can't do that.
Tommy's going to call it early. Carl's going to fall asleep first anyway, for health reasons. And then you just get me talking into a microphone alone. So please, my gosh, stop asking us or keep asking. You know, it's fine. But 6 hours of content over the last 2 weeks leading into Thanksgiving. I know what you're all thankful for now. And listen, you don't have to tell us.
You're welcome.
We know it's us. You're welcome.
Real quick, I've gotten a lot of people at my work, Lululemon, saying that they've listened to the podcast or subscribed. So if you are listening at this point, shout out to my Lululemon squad for supporting us.
And watch on video this week. You'll see some high fashion.
That's right. Matching hoodies.
Guys, nice sweatshirts. I love those hoodies. High performance. Okay, man, can you tell me about who you're wearing today?
Yes, thank you for asking. This is Lululemon. You know, it's the most high quality. This is an Addies hoodie. I have it here in this like darker gray. Pat, you have like a cream white, and Tommy, you have the light gray. So we went
Irish cream.
The Irish cream.
Lululemon.
Not the official color, but you know, we don't have to get super technical with it. Yeah, I did get you guys these as like a nice little thank you gift for supporting me in my parlay and rooting against your own picks, Tommy, especially for that night. So I just saw you guys this weekend for Friendsgiving, for those of you who don't know. So they got a nice little parlay present, shall we say. But Pat, you did hit a parlay the other week, and I didn't get a present yet. So maybe that's on its way. I maybe got lost in the mail. You forget that I live in Syracuse now, or what?
You know, yeah, I sent it. I sent it to like, you know, the Patriots.
Is it in Buffalo under all that snow?
I sent it to the Patriots fan center, but they said something weird, like you got redirected to Pittsburgh. I don't know what's going on.
Tampa Bay, probably.
Oh, all right. Well, either way, down in the retirement community. Yeah, I did hit that parlay. So the small percentage of your winnings will be on its way. Absolutely.
I was going to say, if I ever hit a parlay, I'll send you guys like a single thread because my bankroll is way lower.
Tommy's going to go out in the street and find like a twig and mail it to us.
I won.
Incredible. Well, speaking of gift giving, you know, it is Thanksgiving week, and we do just want to say that we're grateful for all of the people out there that say, oh, Pat, Tommy, and Carl put a new podcast out this week. Great. Let me hit play, turn down the volume, and forget about it for a little while. So everyone out there that turns off our podcast but lets it run in the background, we are certainly thankful for you. But, you know, it wouldn't be Thanksgiving if we didn't go around the table here before we feast on a full 16-game slate in Week 12 of the NFL season. If we didn't tell you what we are thankful for. So, boys, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you right on the spot here. Tell me, which NFL team are you most thankful for in a gambling, perspective? Since that's what we do on this podcast. Who are you the most thankful for this week?
Jeez, from a gambling perspective, you know, I'd like to thank the Minnesota Vikings for giving me the easiest best bet win of the week last week. Your Minnesota Vikings.
You know, this was a nice section until you threw an unnecessary jab my way, but carry on.
I think if we recap the best bets, which I'm sure we will, I chose the Cowboys after Tommy chose his Bears. So thankfully that pushed. I didn't feel bad about not picking that after the fact, but yeah, I went straight to the Cowboys over your Minnesota Vikings, and it was no sweat from start to finish. So I'm thankful for the Dallas Cowboys specifically for this past week.
I would tell you that I'm thankful for you taking that best bet so that I didn't have to, but I still had to suffer my Vikings getting absolutely annihilated. So much so that CBS just stopped carrying the game. I switched over to Red Zone, and Red Zone couldn't even get a feed of the game. We were just watching 2 other games with like 3 out of 4 really bad teams because the Vikings just did not show up. So I can't really say I'm grateful for that. I would say that I'm grateful for my best bet, but the New York Giants proved that they're frauds. So Tommy, while I think of what I'm thankful for, I'm gonna let you tell us which NFL team you're thankful for.
Well, I'm glad you said it from a gambling perspective because it was going to turn into a pile-on, and I was going to say I'm thankful for primetime Kirk Cousins, and I'm sure that take is not going to age. I'm sure that's a take that's going to age well come Thursday night, but we'll see. From a gambling perspective, though, I have to give it to the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I was on them from the start. Mm-hmm. They rewarded my faith, and they're continuing. I mean, this was another close eked out a victory in Indianapolis, which isn't very confidence giving, but still 9-1, 10-1. I forget which one it is, but yeah, thankful for them.
So I am going to tell you that I am thankful this season for our New England Patriots, tied for the 3rd best record against the spread in football this season. Believe it or not, kind of like when you think about it, it's like, okay, all right. But they give us hell every week. They put us on this roller coaster ride. But you know what didn't put us on a roller coaster ride? One fine young gentleman by the name of Bailey Zappi. The Patriots are 6-3-1 against the spread this season, but young Mr. Zappi, in games that he started or played the overwhelming majority of after the first drive, is 3-0 against the spread, while one young Mac Jones is just 3-1. Kind of tough. That would put the Patriots right in the middle of the pack. So I would just like to say that I'm grateful for one Mr. Bailey Zappi, one Mr. Bill Belichick, and Marcus Jones after that punt return.
Oh yeah, like
dramatic game, almost clinching punt return. Really all of the Jones except for Mac. We've got a lot of young Jones on the team. Mac is there. He wasn't awful this week. He didn't make mistakes. He can be on the list. But Jack Jones, fine young cornerback, and Marcus Jones, fine returner, won us the game. So that's what I'm thankful for this year. Speaking of records against the spread, I have a little piece of trivia for you guys. Who do you think are the best and worst teams against the spread? Do not cheat.
Won't cheat
this season.
If I had to guess, I would say I know the Falcons were, but if you think if the Patriots are up there at 6-3-1, I think the Falcons are in a similar boat. So I'm going to say the Falcons. And for the worst, I'm going to say I think it's somebody in the AFC West. I'm going to say the Broncos, but it could be any one of three teams in that division. But I'm going to say the Broncos.
Nice. Solid guesses, Carl.
So I agree with Atlanta just based on how well they started the season. To be different, let me see. Maybe the Seahawks. I don't know if they've been like underrated, but they've been overperforming compared to what we thought. So I'll go with Seahawks as kind of just a different guess from the Falcons. And then honestly, I'm going to go Tampa Bay Bucks because I feel like they've lost more games than we thought they were going to lose.
Nice work by both of you gentlemen. Right there, pretty close. So the Falcons, after starting, was it 6-0 or 5-0?
6-0.
6-0.
You picked them week 7.
Yeah, exactly. So since I decided to jump on the Falcons bandwagon, they have gone 1-4 against the spread. They are now 7-4 against the spread on the season. That is the 4th best record, but they're not the 4th best team because there's a tie in second place. So I told you that the Patriots are 6-3-1. That stands alone for the 3rd best record against the spread. And then there's a 4-way tie for second place. So it is the Cincinnati Bengals, New York Giants, Dallas Cowboys, and LA Chargers,
Mhm.
all at 7-3 against the spread. And in first place, the Tennessee Titans, 8-2
Ooh,
against the
wow.
spread. Right? Kind of interesting the way that works. Carl, you were right on it as well. Seattle is right after Atlanta, 6-4 against the spread. As far as worst teams against the spread this year, Tommy and Carl, you guys were right there. So, Tommy, you said the Broncos 3-7. They have the second worst record. The Rams 2-7-1.
Rams 2, yeah, it's a good one.
And then Tampa Bay, fourth worst. They are 3-6 against the spread, better only than Denver, LA, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 3-7 against the spread.
Surprising.
So
I was between the Broncos and the Raiders, so I'm glad I went Broncos.
Yeah, nice work. Raiders are right there, kind of middle of the pack. There's a bunch of teams tied. They're 4-6 against the spread.
Yeah.
So a lot of teams right in the middle. Okay, so that's my trivia for the week. We have said what we're thankful for, and I got a little Bailey Zappi plug in there too. So I think it's time to move into our NFL full 16 game slate. NFL Week 12. I'm very excited. No bye weeks this week. Last time that's going to happen for a few more weeks. And then the last final weeks of the season, no buys. We're going to have 16 games every week coming at you. But before we do that, let me tell you to make sure you go follow us on Instagram at 3Man Rush. Spell it all out. We go live once in a while. We have some fun. We try to post there. We'll throw some interesting things up there. Maybe we have a last minute parlay, some news breaks, something happened that we didn't have time to talk about on the podcast. We're going to put it up there on Instagram. So give us a follow at 3Man Rush. Spell it all out on Instagram. And of course, you can find us all there too. We're tagged in a bunch of stuff. So find us, follow us, talk to us. We would love to add you to the 3M Army. Thank you. Okay. Let's jump into it. The best part about this week is we get football all day on Thursday as well as all day on Sunday. So, and really we're just one game at a time that we have to focus on. So we're not even bouncing around between red zone, multiple TVs. We can just lock in while we're full in a turkey coma and watch football. It's amazing. Our first game of the week, the 12 o'clock Thanksgiving matinee, the Buffalo Bills return to Detroit, their temporary home last week, where they are 10-point favorites against the Lions. Total here is 54 points. Lions on a 3-game winning streak. Bills looking mortal, hanging on against the Browns last week, snapping their losing streak. But Tom, yeah, I'll go right to you to lead us off this week. Bills, big double-digit spread on the road, short week, Thanksgiving tradition for the Lions. What do we think?
Even though the Browns were able to cover, it was still an 8-point victory and it was a backdoor cover. So that was like the Bills probably let their foot off the gas on that one. I think it's an interesting angle that even though it's in Detroit, the Bills are the ones that don't have to travel for this game because they have already been there, and I assume that they didn't go back. So the Lions are the ones that are going to be less rested in Detroit. And I think because of that I think that factor alone, actually, I think I'm going to take the Bills here, even though it's a bigger spread. I think that this is a get right spot for Buffalo, and I think that they're gonna they came close to blowing out the Browns. I think they do blow out the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, I hate doing this because the Bills can put up so many points and they can get a big lead and not take their foot off the gas. But you think this is a get right game, and I'm kind of thinking that this is like almost a stay healthy because they have the Patriots on Thursday the following week. So I'm thinking like short week, don't do anything crazy. This game, while it does mean a little bit, obviously because of records, they're going to try and bring everything to the Patriots game. So I'm going to take the Lions here to cover that big spread. Do I think they win outright? No, probably not. But I mean, they just upset the Giants, which, again, we already talked about their quality of team compared to their record, but give me the Lions here. Why not?
I don't like that it's a short week with an injured team that barely got out of a snowstorm, goes back to the aftermath of that snowstorm. It's Thanksgiving holiday week. Like, they're all human. They have families and they have engagements and things to worry about. the bad news is that the Lions, although they play on Thanksgiving every year, not great on Thanksgiving. Since 2000, they have gone 6-15 straight up on Thanksgiving. Only slightly better, 9-12 against the spread over the last 21 years. Although I do think maybe they bumped that up to number 10 this season, because I'm going to go with the Lions as well. 10 points is just too much for me on a short week. I think a lot going on for Buffalo. Detroit is sleeping in their own beds, going home to their own home-cooked meals and their own families. So, Tommy, you get the island with the Buffalo Bills. I don't think you're going to complain about that. Tommy would tell you how he's not complaining about that if he knew how technology worked.
No, last week started off with the Thursday night island for me, and I got that one. So if you want to start off this week the same way, I'm all for it.
Candidly, I decided to make my picks before the podcast this week. I've been doing that for a couple of weeks, so I had it written down. I decided to stick with it. It really convinced me when Carl went with them. I'm curious what the spreadsheet has to say, if it has any magical insight.
Yeah, super magical insight. I think it's I got it projected at 8.62. So I mean, I think actually when I was first looking at the lines, I think it was at 9 or 9.5, and I think it might have gone up to 10, which is almost like, honestly, sounds like better for Tommy that people are taking that side and the line is moving in that favor. It almost seems like Vegas is trying to like catch up the line with how much is betting. It's when people are betting on it and the line doesn't move that you should be a little bit afraid. But again, 10 is such a weird number. We've seen it happen so many times where a team will be up 2 touchdowns, even like a 17-point game, and they give up a touchdown for no reason. And at that point, it doesn't even make sense to go for 2 because you're not trying to get it in with a 1-score game. So,
well, and here's what I'll tell you too is we saw the Browns running game. Actually, I'm talking out of my ass. I don't even remember what the numbers are. But the Browns running game, looked okay against Buffalo last weekend, and that's really the strength of the Lions, right? Like they can put the ball on the ground. If you force Detroit and Jared Goff to throw this week, I don't think it bodes well for Detroit. I think the Bills are going to win either way, but I think they can easily cover. But if you can slow that game down, focus on the run game, which the Bills might have to do too, by the way, because we don't really know the status of Josh Allen's elbow still. He is still questionable. He didn't really look great in that win. They ran the ball a lot. I think the Lions will go mano a mano with them, run the ball, maybe another 3-touchdown game for Jamal Williams. I don't know. So Jamal, I'm saying it's Jamal Williams.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm thinking of like somebody else from the past. I don't know. I just think it can happen. I think if you slow the game down, you're running the ball. It just gives the Lions a chance to stay in the game and not get blown out. So that's where my head's at this week.
DeAndre Swift is it just, am I getting this wrong? But doesn't he have the most touchdowns of any player this season?
No, it's Jamal Williams.
It's Jamal Williams.
It is Jamal Williams. Yeah,
that sounds right. But DeAndre Swift did score a touchdown this past week, right? I'm not crazy.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like
all I know is that the for some reason, I don't even know why the Lions coaching staff and Dan Campbell have been saying that they're too afraid of Swift getting injured, and that's why they're only giving him like 10 to 12 touches a game, even though he's their second best offensive player behind Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I was gonna say this feels kind of like a DeAndre Swift game though, just like the way that. I mean, they could play out. Like you said, they're going to run the ball a lot, but I think like mixing in a speed back is the best way to get to the Bills defense.
DeAndre Swift did score a touchdown this past week, and then Jamal Williams had 3. So that's 4 rushing touchdowns from their top 2 backs. If you can come even remotely close to that this week, I think you have a chance to stay in that game.
Yeah.
Fair?
Fact. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on where the New York Football Giants, coming off a loss, an ugly loss to the Detroit Lions, head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, who are coming off a big win. Carl Mann, what if you have anything to say about that? Cowboys will be favored by a whopping 9.5 points in this one. I'm not going to lie. That one surprised me a little bit when I saw it. This is our mid-afternoon 4:25 Thanksgiving start. Total in this one is 45.5 points. So, Carl, since I'm calling you out, I will go to you first. Cowboys, big win. Giants, ugly loss. That is the recipe that you like to follow to swap sides there. So tell me, is that what you're going to do this week?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of things going against the Cowboys in this situation. Big spread in the division, coming off a huge win. Obviously, everyone saw. The Giants just lost. And again, I think this line is automatically inflated because everybody likes to bet on the Cowboys, right? That being said, I'm still going to roll the dice with the spread here. I think that everything I've already said, the line should be lower. I think there's a reason why it's this high. Dallas has like the best defense in the league. I'm not even going to say one of. I'm just going to stick with it. We're going to give hot takes only. They've got the best defense in the league. So I think they have what it takes to slow down the Giants. They play them twice a year. Obviously, you could say that the Giants know the way to attack the Cowboys, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. The Giants we already talked about aren't as good as their record shows. Really quickly, I'll just pull up the rankings that I have. Not the rankings that I have, but Football Outsiders. For the Giants, they're 7-3. We talked about this last week, but their estimated wins are at 4.5. All right. So like playing record-wise better than they should be. And then you look at a team like the Cowboys who are sitting at the top of the league at 7-3, maybe not the exact top, but, towards the top of the league. And their estimated wins is 8.7. So they actually have more projected wins than their record shows. So I just think there's a huge discrepancy in the two teams here. So for all those reasons, I'm on the Cowboys again this week.
As far as those rankings go, here's what I will tell you. Per DVOA, Cowboys actually, this is surprising to me. I haven't looked at this in a little while. Through 11 weeks, Cowboys second in total DVOA, team DVOA. Offense only 14th, but defense second place.
You're welcome.
According to Pro Football Focus, however, just the 13th rated defense per their grade. So a little discrepancy there. So, only take the stats that back up your argument. So DVOA is the one that works for you.
Selective statistics. Selective statistics is our motto.
The way we roll on this podcast. Narratives over numbers. Tommy, what do you think?
I actually like all of Carl's explanations there. In terms of the Cowboys just coming off a big win, Giants coming off of a bad loss, short week, intradivisional, prime time on like only game on that time slot, football game, and the NFC East usually has those slugfests. The other aspect is, yes, I agree with the projected wins versus the actual record, but I'm still going to go with the Giants to cover this. I think they're going to lose, because I think their record is better than how they're playing. But I think that the way that Brian Daboll coaches that team, he gets them up and ready to play. They've kept games close pretty much all season. And with that in mind, like I think the Giants are going to lose, but I'm going to take them to cover. I think this is going to be a closer game than people realize.
Yeah, so when I guessed these lines, I thought it would be Cowboys by 5.5. This opened at Cowboys -7 and has already moved to Cowboys by 9.5. I think the opening line was a little bit of a Thanksgiving Cowboys America's team bump. And I think we've only seen that because it's such a public team. If you don't gamble the rest of the year, this is a day that you will gamble on Thanksgiving, right? Put a little money on it, have a little fun, sit on the couch with your family and watch football and have a stake in the games, right? I just think the number is way too high. I could be eating crow on this, but Tommy, I'm with you. I decided to go with the Giants on this one. Give me the almost 10 points, and that is juicy, ripe for a tease that maybe we'll talk about later on. If there's, I don't know, is anybody throwing a party later? Anybody heard anything like that? We'll see.
All Thanksgiving parties.
Yeah, if we can find a place to sneak in tonight, maybe we can talk about a teaser later on. But for now, let's move on to our Sunday, Thursday night, Thanksgiving evening primetime matchup where our New England Patriots head to Minnesota to take on my Minnesota Vikings and primetime Kirk Cousins. The Vikings, this dropped since earlier. That's great. The Vikings only favored by 2.5 points in this one. Total is 42.5 points. I feel like I should lead this off because I'm the Vikings guy here. And I really don't want to lead us off because this is like the two, like I feel like I'm in a love triangle right now. And it's like episode 10 of, I don't know, The Bachelor, Love is Blind, pick a dating show. And I'm in love with two people and I have to make a call. And whatever I do, I'm going to regret it. There's no right decision in this one. When it was Vikings by 3.5, I didn't feel really good, but I was going to take the Vikings. Now that it's only 2.5, I'm going to stick with that because I have told you all season long how good the Vikings are. You guys have pushed back and told me that I'm very wrong. Patriots, exciting win last week. Vikings, crushing loss. I don't know. That's the Carl Mann recipe for a little switcheroo. So I really believe in this Vikings defense, despite what Tony Pollard and the Cowboys just did to them this weekend. I believe in the Patriots defense. So I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I do think, I was going to say it could come down to a field goal. And if I have to pick this game coming down to a field goal between Nick Folk in a dome and Greg Joseph anywhere on planet Earth, I'm going to pick Nick Folk. So I don't feel good about it, but I said it. I'm going to stick with it. I'm taking the Vikings -2.5. And if I'm wrong, I mean, the Patriots win. So it's kind of a good Thanksgiving for me no matter what. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I was to lead off this game. I was thinking like, what is the opposite of the immovable object versus an unstoppable force, like collision? Because that feels like what we're getting with this game, where there was no offensive touchdown scored in New England last week, and the Vikings obviously got trounced, and it turns into what is like the last thing Kirk Cousins needs after he has a demoralizing loss?
A Bill Belichick defense.
In prime time.
In prime time. Oh God. See, that's the thing. Like that's continue because I'm already there's no good decision for me.
No, and I agree with your logic about like the demoralizing loss versus like an uplifting win narrative. But this is like the perfect like double down time on like bad Kirk Cousins, whereas like his confidence is low and he goes into where he plays his worst. So with that in mind, I'm going to take the Patriots here. I would honestly look at taking them outright in this game.
Look at it. I already did. Got to get it in early. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Patriots are going to win this game. I have a fun fact for you, Pat. Here, let's play a fun game called Against the Spread.
Oh, no.
Do you know that Kirk Cousins only has a winning record in the 1:00 time slot against the spread? Probably this also season? In real life. Nope, overall.
Oh, great.
He's like something like even in the 4:00 time slot, he's like 20-30 or something, and it's obviously even worse in primetime. That's why he has the nice nickname, Primetime Kirk Cousins. However, here's my fun fact. Minnesota is 4-5-1 against the spread this season. In general, do you know what their margin of victory is?
I believe they have a negative point differential after this blowout loss to the Cowboys.
That is correct. It is negative 0.2. And that being said, they're against the spread plus or minus is minus 2.2. So would you like to play a fun game called What's the Patriots? I'll tell you. Patriots are 6-1. We already covered that against the spread. Their 4.4 is their margin of victory. So they win games by 4 points, which is, I mean, not only is it enough to cover the spread, but it's just straight up. And even against the spread, they're plus 3.5. So, I mean, all things are pointing to the Patriots here. So, I mean, you can be on your island. You can be on your island with Kirk Cousins if you win. I mean, obviously, I'll be extra sad because the Patriots would have lost. And this is one of those games that I will stay up all night for. This is not one that I'm going to rewatch in the morning, just the highlights. So, It'll be a late night, making for a very early Friday morning, Black Friday in retail, might I add.
It's one of those where there's no good outcome for me. Like truly. Like, especially now that I've picked the Vikings. It's just a lose all around. Yeah.
God forbid those Patriots winning a game.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, okay, like the Patriots win, so okay, like for the podcast, it's bad for me because I'm picking the Vikings. But then, like, if the Vikings win in real life, I'm still a Patriots fan. So yeah, that's if you're watching this, that's what I am right now, Carl.
Well, they can't see it until I talk, but here we are. Look at that's you.
Nice of you to put my face on a towel. That's great. Also, shout out to teamrankings.com for all of the stats that Carl and I have been spewing at you for the last couple segments here. Because I was reading right along as you said all of those things. So
hashtag sponsor us.
Do it, Team Rankings. You know how to find us at 3Man Rush. You know what time it is. So DJ, hit that track. We gotta start dancing. Tommy, talk to me, baby.
We came to drink, turning up and party. Somebody say, hey, we wanna party. Hey, we wanna party. Somebody say, hey, we wanna party. Hey, we wanna party.
All right, it's the Parlay Partay, people. Week 12.
Parlay.
Finally said that right. It's been like a month since I did that. We have got this is a parlay blowout, blockbuster, shut down the streets, get your turkey asses out there and put some bets in because we have so many slates of football this week to just have multiple bets. And the best part is if you bet and you lose on Thursday, you get to do it again on Sunday. So amazing. Maybe the best week of the year for football. I love it. You love it. The moms love it. Let's get to the Parlay Partay. Here is my Thanksgiving teaser. I am going with a 10-point tease on this one because I want to be extra safe. So the Buffalo Bills are favored by 10 in the game. If we're giving them 10 points, they are an even. All they got to do, even spread. They just got to win, baby. Just win. The New York Football Giants are already getting 9.5 points. Why not give them 10 more? Plus 19.5 wouldn't have helped my Vikings last week, but it might help the Giants on Thanksgiving. They just have to not lose by 20. Is that too much to ask of the Giants? I don't think so. I hope not. And then finally, I know you guys are going to like this. Our New England Patriots. I got to change this line because I had them as +3 when we bet it. It's now +2.5. So give them 10 points. They are +12.5. Just don't lose by 2 touchdowns. All of that, -120. Bills, even. Giants, +19.5. Patriots, +12.5. -120. 10-point 3-team teaser. Laying $120 to win $100. How you like that?
I actually really like that. It's a very smart idea. I mean, all things considered. I have a similar one because I obviously like the Patriots to win. To get I don't want to say a little bit better odds. It's way better odds for me. I think Bills money line, Cowboys money line, and then the Patriots money line, which is already plus odds. It's +120 for the Patriots. But again, if you think the Bills and the Cowboys are locks, they're -450 and -400 respectively. You could go from +120 on the Patriots to +236. Again, that's assuming you're parlaying it with the Bills and the Cowboys. But I mean, to jump from 120 to 236, that's huge odds if you're going to take those -400 favorites in the Bills and the Cowboys. So if you think the Bills and the Cowboys are going to win, why not throw it with the Patriots? And if you like the Vikings, throw it with the Vikings. You'll still get better odds than what it would have been at like -120. So
fair enough. So money line, the 3 of them that you like. If you go Bills heavy favorite, Cowboys heavy favorite, Patriots dog, you're getting +236 odds.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I like because I'm rooting for the Patriots, of course.
Not bad. Not bad. I don't hate it. All right. Great. Amazing. I love that. I hope we all win a lot of money this week. I hope we all can enjoy Thanksgiving. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side dish, or just main dish? What's your favorite thing at Thanksgiving?
Mine's sweet potato casserole with like marshmallows on top with some what do you put in there? I was gonna say pecans, maybe. Put in some pecans. Get a little crunchy crunch. But I'm not a stuffing fan. I'll say that.
Really?
Maybe it's a hot take. Don't like stuffing. And cranberry sauce has to be the like jelly in a can. It can't be like fresh, like cranberries. Like no, get that out of here.
It has to be like
stuff. That's what I grew up on.
Can.
I need to be able to. I need to be able to like lay it on a plate and then cut it, and like have that piece stay in this original shape that I cut it. It needs to be like a disc.
Need the indents from the can, right?
Yes, 100%.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I don't
Yes.
like cranberry, but if it's homemade, it's trash.
It's trash. Absolutely trash.
No
Tell me what's your
hot
favorite.
takes here. This is just straight facts.
But for me, I would say favorite side dish has to be. This is like a late bloomer for me because I did not like stuffing when I was growing up, but nowadays put it right next to that turkey. Get a little bit of that extra gravy, that run over gravy, a little bit in there. Mix it all together.
Amazing.
Talk dirty to me.
Amazing. It's so good. I love stuffing. You can have bad stuffing, but even bad stuffing I think is pretty good. I'm a big mashed potatoes guy. It doesn't have to be at Thanksgiving. I will have that year round. But you can have really light mashed potatoes sometimes, maybe a little too whipped. I really want my mashed potatoes to have a lot of flavor. So I'm not going to pick them here because sometimes there's a lot of variability on Thanksgiving. You don't know what you're going to get when you're getting mashed potatoes from the relatives. Kind of scary. So I'm going to go with the stuffing as well. But listen, really like make or break your Thanksgiving. If you've got a good green bean casserole,
All right, here's my question. Pumpkin pie, apple pie, cherry pie, blueberry pie. Am I missing a pie? And like, what's the best one? Because I didn't put that in my order.
chocolate cream pie.
Chocolate cream pie?
Lemon
Tommy and I
pie.
agree.
No, I think that's one you're missing. It's pumpkin pie for me, but lemon pie is another one you're missing.
Listen, when you say chocolate cream pie, you're talking about like straight up like graham cracker pie crust, like chocolate pudding, and just Cool Whip on top. Because that's what my that's what my family makes. Is like a chocolate cream pie. It's pretty basic, but it is pretty good.
That sounds amazing. I don't think I ever get like the graham cracker base, and I'm not a big Cool Whip guy, but I could run with that. I generally see a Cool Whip on top a lot. But listen, that sounds amazing. I need to come to your Thanksgiving because
I will say I'm sorry, Tommy,
really
but
good.
I don't like pumpkin pie. So I go apple pie, and then probably like cherry because like I never get it. So like when I have the opportunity to have like a cherry pie on like this holiday season, I usually go to like a slice of cherry pie, then blueberry, and I'm always getting chocolate. This is like on the side of my chocolate cream pie. And then if there's pumpkin pie, it's just like I guess like if there's leftovers, I'll just eat it because you know I'm a fat kid at heart.
I'll tell you this: we're all fat kids at heart.
Fat kids in body also.
Yes.
Speaking of which, ask my heart. It'll tell you that.
I will go for the apple pie 10 times out. Give me a warm apple pie with some nice cold like
Richardson's vanilla.
Maybe some Richardson's vanilla, some Man's Orchard apple pie with like they do like it's almost like a coffee cake like crumble top. Oh my god, it is to freaking die for. Let me tell you this. And maybe we can end here because we've already been talking to you for too long. But guys, you told us you wanted more content, so we're giving it to you.
I have one hot take. I have one hot take when you're done.
All right. Give me your hot take.
I don't go for the apple pie because all it does is make me want apple crisp, which is the better apple dessert.
Isn't apple crisp just kind of like mashed apple pie? It's kind of just like mushy with like some extra spices that like you really should have in a good apple pie.
It's
right?
those extra spices that do it.
It totally is. You're very right. I will give you that. That's completely fair. Yeah, that's fair. Like if you don't have a good like pie crust topping, can really ruin the pie experience.
Because it's just sliced apple pie is really just sliced apples, whereas like apple crisp is more of that like that pie texture that you get, that softness.
the softness matters, but if you get the good, like the mushy gushy in the middle, you know what I'm
You can
talking
throw
about.
caramel in a crisp.
3-Man Gush podcast. You get that mushy gushy.
Amen.
Listen, this is what I'll tell you. My grandfather, God rest his soul, anytime you asked him what he wanted, he would say, Dad, Grandpa, do you want the lemon pie? Do you want the chocolate cream pie? Do you want the apple pie? And he would just say, yes. And if that's not the right answer, I don't know what is. So remembering him this week, remembering him tonight. And I think that'll probably do it for us. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be grateful for our almost 2-hour podcast. We're grateful for all of you. Grateful for all this football. Grateful for all the food. Can't wait to come back a little bit fatter, a little bit happier next week, and talk to you again.
Yeah, leave us a comment. And if you're watching on YouTube, comment your favorite Thanksgiving dishes. If you're listening on podcasts, give us a 5-star review. And in your review, give us your Thanksgiving meals.
Brilliant. Tommy, brilliant. Good job by you.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Take us home.
But there's 3 games early this week, so good luck at your local sports book this week and weekend.
Amazing. Little Thanksgiving ASMR, Carl.
Turkey.
Carl, you're my cherry pie.